On this episode of O'Fallon Matters, watch O'Fallon's CERT team in action. Find out about a project that will honor veterans from St. Charles County and learn how you can give back to O'Fallon by volunteering. All this and more next on O'Fallon Matters. Welcome to this episode of O'Fallon Matters. Catching bad guys and playing with toys is all in a day's work for this O'Fallon police officer. We caught up with Canine Odin and his new handler, Matt Furkovic, to find out how they're getting along.
Like many dog owners, Matt Furkovic's day tends to revolve around his constant companions. Along with his wife, Matt makes sure his dogs get enough exercise and play, and enjoys hanging out with them while at home. But unlike many dog owners, when Matt suits up for work each day, one of his dogs gets ready right alongside him. Odin, Matt's 85-pound German Shepherd, is actually a highly trained canine officer with the O'Fallon Police Department, and this brave canine might be an even more decorated officer than Matt is. We caught up with this dynamic pair while they were warming up and burning off some energy to talk about the incredible abilities Odin brings to our department.
Either narcotics detection, so if somebody does a traffic stop and they think there's some kind of narcotic in their car or in a person's car and they deny consent or they just can't locate it on their own, they call the dog. The dog helps to locate the odor of narcotics. And then the majority of the other stuff that he's used for is more of the serious offenses. So, you know, serious felonies or really violent misdemeanors. If somebody breaks into a house or something like that and then runs from the house, he can track them. Anything that is a serious misdemeanor or a felony, we're able to use the dog either for tracking or for criminal apprehension or things of that sort.
Odin's diverse skill set means that these two officers are often seen assisting other police officers, looking for narcotics and tracking down evidence or even suspects. While Odin and Matt have only recently been partnered together, they've already established a deep bond that helps them work together more efficiently.
He's motivated, he's dedicated, and a lot of times he's just plain silly. He's always there for me. I know that no matter what, this dog will always be standing right next to me, whether we're going into gunfire together or whether we're going to let people pet him or whatever else we're doing. He's always there for me. I know he's always going to be by my side no matter what. He's silly when I need him to be silly. He's serious when I need him to be serious. And he always keeps everything really interesting.
Odin is one of 3 canine officers within O'Fallon. Alongside canines Talos and Eris, Odin helps make the O'Fallon community much safer. All of our dogs are highly trained, and at this year's regional trials, our dogs took top honors. Odin took second in criminal apprehension trials and helped our team reach first overall out of over 40 canine teams throughout the Midwest. But what makes that accomplishment more impressive is that Officer Furkovic and Canine Odin haven't been working together all that long. Odin previously worked with a different officer, Nick Johnson, who left our department to pursue a new opportunity in law enforcement. Matt was chosen to take over as Odin's handler, and the two have proven to be a winning pair for our police department.
You know, going into taking somebody else's dog, you're inheriting somebody else's pride and joy, somebody else's dog that they put so much work into. So, you know, inheriting somebody else's dog, you want to make sure that you take that dog to a higher level than he already was. You don't want to take any steps back. You just want to keep moving forward and make sure, you do everything you can to make sure that dog succeeds. So it was nerve-wracking knowing that he was somebody else's to begin with, but now it's much different. I don't feel like he's somebody else's dog. I feel like he's my own.
During our ride-along, we got to see just how well these two officers work together. After a routine stop for a burnt-out headlight, Good police work led to arresting a suspect with a felony warrant out for his arrest. Odin got a chance to show off his nose as he hunted for suspicious substances within the car, and his presence helped control the situation. It's safe to say that the teamwork exhibited by Officers Furkovic and Odin was instrumental in successfully resolving this situation. It goes to show how all of our canine officers can help our police force in a number of ways.
I think they're essential to the department. They're capable of doing so much, finding narcotics, finding bad guys, apprehending suspects, keeping officers safe, keeping me safe, keeping the public safe. But they're also there, to be around the public and, to go to demos and to let little kids see them and know that our dogs aren't vicious and so on and so forth. They're always around, and I think that they're a necessity for the majority of the departments in this area, and especially a department this size.
We're proud to have Officers Furkovic and Odin as the newest team on our K9 division. If you see them at a city event, make sure you say hi to these two officers. It's good to know they're proudly serving our community, making O'Fallon a safer place to live.
Now let's meet a gardener who's feeding O'Fallon's elderly residents from her own garden. Joe Meyer is here with a heartwarming story of generosity in our own backyard.
Oftentimes, we think that homelessness is something that only exists in large cities such as St. Louis. But homelessness knows no bounds, even here in O'Fallon. And local resident Deborah Arndt is growing delicious vegetables in her backyard in North O'Fallon for the sole purpose of feeding the homeless elderly of St. Charles County. Arndt lived in O'Fallon for many years and recently moved back here from Mount Vernon, Illinois, where she had a history of feeding the homeless. And now, our Giving Hands garden is thriving here in O'Fallon, one seedling at a time.
Our Giving Hands garden mission is to try to spread the word for other people to do what I am doing in their neighborhoods. Reach out, grow a garden, and feed your neighbor. Go feed a stranger. If you see someone there having a rough time, make a sandwich, make a bag, and just, here you go, and a cold bottle of water. It's so cool when you see how many people you can feed from one plant. I mean, it's an amazing feeling.
Arndt's small garden produces a variety of plants, including peppers, green beans, strawberries, and other fresh vegetables. In fact, there are 500 plants in her garden at any given time.
It's a lot of work. I've got over $5,000 in the backyard already. And, I don't have a lot of money, but I give up my Christmas, I'll give up my food, I'll give up my stuff to feed another person. Today, I've already picked 150 peppers. And it's just amazing. I'm out here at least 8 hours every day.
For Deborah, her inspiration comes from her experiences as a child. She was abandoned when she was 4 years old at an orphanage and at times went hungry.
For some reason, there was not a paper sign, so I could not legally be adopted, but I did not realize that. And I ended up going from one home to another to another. We never had Christmas at the orphanage. We never had birthdays. But we didn't miss it because we didn't have it. But food is something we have to live on. And so many people don't realize that the elderly are not being taken care of. And I'm trying to do my part. Well, there are different areas around here and in St. Charles County where I know the homeless are. When I pull up, they know my truck.
Whatever vegetables she doesn't give away end up in jars to be sold.
So I've got about 150 pepper plants of all kinds. I have cucumbers. I have strawberries that come back every year. I have a ball. The strawberries are 29-year-old plants I brought with me. And I make jams and jellies and salsas out of this stuff. And I sell that stuff to be able to buy the other stuff that is needed for these people.
If you are interested in helping or purchasing one of Deborah's canned pepper medleys or her outstanding jams, you can call her directly at 618-214-5160, or you can email her at ourgivinghandsgarden2009@yahoo.com.
I love doing this. It's a way of making yourself realize that you can do something. And people, I tell them, you can grow a garden. It doesn't have to be this big. If they want my help, I'll be happy to show them.
Finally, it's good to know that the homeless elderly of our community are getting nourishment due to the generosity of a resident with a big heart and a flourishing garden.
Veterans will always be remembered in O'Fallon, thanks to one man's dream.
Ralph Borelli, a World War II veteran, made it his mission to open the first Veterans Museum in St. Charles County. The city of O'Fallon is excited to be a part of the first Veterans Museum that will be located in downtown O'Fallon on East Elm Street in the Civic Annex building.
It's a fulfillment of something that is badly needed in St. Charles County, because without a museum, where's your history? There's no history without a museum. Like everything else, if you don't have something like that, well, it's lost.
Ralph has so much to share, having served in World War II. He fought in the Battle of the Bulge, and his Army unit was one of the first to enter Dachau. The thought of having a museum and being able to share his experiences means a lot to him.
Well, it makes me feel like it's worthwhile to have a museum, because if people come and appreciate what we have, that's what it's all about. It does mean a lot to the veterans, period, because this way they can bring their stuff in there and be there for all time. Whatever they bring, letters or whatever it is, it's something that happened to them, they lived it and everything, and it'll be a wonderful thing, wonderful.
Now that the building has been selected, the next challenge is finding items for the museum.
In about 2 to 3 months after we find a storage place with good air quality control, we'll be asking for donations. We have a couple members on our board that will be dealing with all the donations. We'll be going around to all the different veterans committees, the AMVETs, the VFWs, the public, and we'll be asking for donations. I'm real excited. Can't wait to get some of the younger generation in there, show them some things, explain a few of the things to them about the veterans, what the veterans have done, what they stand for. Read some of the stories from of the veterans' letters. We're going to try to have a variety of things.
Ralph's mission to have our veterans honored started back in the 90s when he realized that there wasn't much of anything in St. Charles County. So he had an idea, which led to the renaming of the outer road in St. Charles to Veterans Memorial Parkway. He is also credited with spearheading the Veterans Memorial Park in Lake St. Louis, both of which he is really proud of.
Well, I am excited because actually I don't know if I'll have anything else to do, and if this is my last hurrah idea, whatever, and I hope it stays forever and ever.
If you would like to make a donation or for more information, give John Roth a call at 636-696-5517.
The minutes following disaster are crucial, and depending on the severity, first responders' efforts may be limited. That's why in 1994, FEMA developed the Community Emergency Response Team. I had the opportunity to spend the weekend with CERT's newest trainees to find out how they're learning to assist their neighbors in an emergency situation. Every year, the O'Fallon Police Department, in cooperation with the Federal Emergency Management Agency, assists in training citizens to be a crucial tool in disaster response.
Weekend was great, being able to learn the information to actually help save lives and prevent property damage. We were able to put those tools to use, and it was quite beneficial.
What they taught us is that you're responsible for your family first, and I came away with at least 3 or 4 things that I'm going to do to make sure my family is taken care of. And then in the event of an emergency, you're then responsible for your neighborhood, which means I'm feeding back into the people that I live around. And then we report and respond for our whole entire community.
The 20-hour class uses a blend of classroom lecture, demonstration, and live exercise to teach participants a practical, organized response to disaster recovery.
I love helping people, and I'll do everything that I can to help people. And this way I was able, in a controlled environment, learn how to do that, learn how to not be so stressed, to kind of help and figure things out in a chaotic situation.
It's very important that people learn the necessary skills, be able to help themselves and others. I think it's important to, one, be prepared and know those necessary skills.
I've learned so much, so many things that I already knew, but now it's so much more organized now. And I just feel like I'm in a better spot to be able to help out my family, neighbors, and the community.
I don't have to be a police officer. I don't have to be a first responder. I can fill a role, I can serve my community, and I can do it in a way that teaches my children about the social contract and how we can fulfill that.
CERT is an ongoing program. For more information about upcoming sessions, visit the O'Fallon Police Department website or contact Officer Pat Helton. Thank you to all the men and women who serve on O'Fallon CERT. Your time and efforts are truly appreciated by the residents of O'Fallon. And speaking of time, if you're looking to give back to your community, there are hundreds of volunteer opportunities in the city of O'Fallon. Joe Meyer has more on how you can volunteer for your city.
Volunteer O'Fallon coordinates the volunteer efforts of citizens interested in helping their community grow through personal involvement. O'Fallon volunteers come in a wide range of different backgrounds, different ages, different skills, and different abilities. All of them find their purpose through a wide range of opportunities that meet the mission of volunteer services.
Well, the volunteers are who make such a great volunteer program. We've got people who come out who are as young as 2 years old, come out with their families and have an enjoyable family experience. Students who come out, senior citizens who come out, and they love what they do. They're very passionate about their community.
Volunteers enhance city-sponsored activities, programs, and events by providing additional support, which helps ensure their success. Throughout the year, Volunteer O'Fallon offers hundreds of great events that are community-focused. And did you know that volunteers do not need to be residents of O'Fallon to participate in our program?
I think that people should volunteer for their community, not just to give back, but we have a really great team here who cares about the volunteers. We want them to have fun. We want them to know that they're supported and that what they do is really important to the community. And, there's nothing more special than knowing that what you're doing is actually making a difference.
I volunteer in O'Fallon because it's a great community and I love seeing all the little kids and it makes people happy.
We love to come in and give back. We volunteer all the time. Our family volunteers every year at each one of the family events that we can participate in. It just means that you care.
It's always a great time to get involved. Now, here are a few great events coming up this fall in O'Fallon.
We've got the Cornucopia of Care food drive, and for that we're collecting a lot of different food items to go to local pantries around the community. We've got National Make a Difference Day coming up. We do a lot of environmental and park projects on that day. It's over 200 people in this community come out and give back to the different park areas that are going on, creek cleanups.
Here in O'Fallon, volunteers are treated as family, and Volunteer Services Coordinator Megan Taylor loves mentoring and supporting our volunteers.
I love all of the different people who come out to volunteer, hearing their stories, hearing why they come out to give back to their community. It's a really special relationship that gets built. We always have a really good time.
The three ladies that I work for are absolutely superb. We have a lot of fun in there. We joke around and laugh and giggle, but we also are putting out some great events.
To find out more information on how you can volunteer here in O'Fallon, you can go to www.ofallon.mo.us/volunteer, or you can give them a call at 636-379-5417.
O'Fallon's infrastructure is always expanding and improving. Here's a look at what's still ahead for our roads in 2016.
Even though summer is winding down, road projects will continue throughout O'Fallon. We have a number of projects wrapping up in the fall, and we've got some big improvements coming to our community in 2017. But first, let's head over to Highway K and Waterford Crossing Drive to check in on our first project. Waterford Crossing sees a lot of traffic throughout the day as students are dropped off at Fort Zumwalt West Middle School. Golfers hit the links at Pheasant Run. Fitness fans take advantage of the Renaud Spirit Center, and families head home to the Waterford Crossing neighborhood. Construction is currently underway to install 2 left turn lanes, a shared right turn and through lane, a sidewalk extension, and improved crossing signals. Look for this project to be completed in the fall. The City of O'Fallon maintains over 700 miles of streets and roads, and keeping up with our crack seal program and concrete repair program is a necessity for keeping traffic moving smoothly. After completing work in the Monticello, Twin Chimneys, and villages of Darden subdivisions, work went on hold during the extreme summer heat. Now that the temps are starting to cool again, keep an eye out for our crews throughout the city. These projects involve the removal and replacement of damaged road slabs and curbs, cleaning and sealing of cracks and joints in our city streets, and improving pedestrian features. In 2017, look for construction to begin on a shared use path on Highway K from Feisey Road to Technology Drive. This project will unite pedestrian and bike paths along that route, and construction will occur primarily along the west side of Highway K. To view an interactive map of walkable and bikeable areas in O'Fallon, check out www.ofallon.mo.us/parksandrec. That does it for this brief overview of our road projects update. You can get more info on these or any of our city infrastructure projects by going online to ofallon.mo.us/projects. And remember, when you see our crews out and about improving our city streets, slow down and drive carefully. They're hard at work making your daily commute that much better.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of O'Fallon Matters. If you have a good story idea, let us know. You can email us at OFallonTV@ofallon.mo.us. Please remember to give back to your community, because O'Fallon matters to all of us.